Ever wondered how just a few tweaks to your website can dramatically change how clients see you and how much they're willing to pay? Today, I am chatting about the 8 essentials of a professional website that not only looks stunning, but also pulls in high end clients that you really want to work with. Let's get into it. Welcome to Website Design Made Simple, the podcast for busy small business owners who want a high performing website that converts and sells their offers, even while they're sleeping. Because you deserve to have a strategic and beautiful website that truly represents your brand and positions you as the expert that you are. I'm your host, Jenny B., web designer and creative director at Jenny B Designs, where we believe that your website is the one thing that makes you sales and builds your brand at the same time. Ready to say goodbye to a website that you're embarrassed to share? And hello to a money-making, personality-packed powerhouse? Let's head into today's episode. Today's episode was inspired by some websites that I saw recently that were a little bit on the older side. And when I landed there, I was actually curious about their services. The first thought I had was, oh, this isn't very professional. And so I felt like it would be a really good idea to come up with 8 different ways that I see that you can really create a professional website that attracts those clients that you want to work with and tweaks that you can make to make the website that you have a little bit better. Before I get into that, let me just share with you who I am if we haven't already met. I'm Jenny B. I own Jenny B Designs. We're a brand and web design studio. And my passion is helping other small business owners like you really design a website that represents them online and attracts their ideal clients. I love a beautiful site, but one that is strategy first, that has these 8 pieces that we need to be really professional and attract your ideal client. I also offer website audits for those who maybe designed their own website or had it designed a few years ago and want some easy to implement DIY ways that you can uplevel the current website that you have. We're in the month of November right now, and I am starting to book projects for the beginning of next year. So if you are interested in a new website for 2025, let's get in touch and chat about it now so we can set you up for success. So let's talk about number 1. The first way is making sure that you use professional branding on your website. And what does that mean? It means, when I talk about branding, your logo, your colors, and your fonts. You want them to all be representative of who your business is today at this point in time. You want to make sure that your logo is modern and clean, and you have colors that are all consistent and fonts that are easy to read, but also a little bit personality packed. And everything is consistent throughout your entire website. And when I say professional branding, I mean created by a designer, someone who has put some deep thought into who your business is in conjunction with you, and you've come up with a visual look and feel to your business that you can carry throughout everything that you do online, your website, your social media, everything online. Now, if working with a professional is not an investment that you can make at this point in time, then, there are always secondary options that you can choose. There are some semi-made for you brand kits available online that I really tend to enjoy for those who are able to invest in this time. You just want to make sure that you are creating a cohesive brand and that you carry it through everywhere, because that is the first thing that people notice when they get to your website. And that can make or break the thought that you are professional or not. Second thing, navigation, making sure that it is simple and easy to get to and that people know what to do. When we talk about your navigation, we are talking about the top navigation. So it's at the top of your website, as well as, and don't forget, the footer navigation, because that's also a secondary place where navigation is located. When we talk about the top navigation header, the nav up there, we want to make sure that it is 5 items or less. I love to get it to less than 5 if possible. Gosh, there's nothing better than clean navigation. For service providers, I like to see services, about, and contact. And then if you have resources, you can put that under a second tab up there as well. The thing is that as you add items, make sure that you're not adding it to your top navigation. What I mean by that is if you have potentially a blog, which would go under resources, and then you start a podcast, make sure you're adding it at the dropdown so that resources is the only top level navigation item. You want to keep that clean and simple. You also don't want to include social media icons up at the top. When you get someone on your website, you want to keep them there. That's the whole point of having a website. You don't want to send them over to the black hole of social media. Make sure that your top header does not have any social media icons. And what you also want the top header has is a call to action button. Making sure, and I'm going to talk about this more later, that your main call to action is up at the top right-hand corner with a button, and you are easily linking people to the action that you want them to take. When we talk about your footer navigation, this can be a little bit more in depth. This can also include pages that you don't want to list up at the top navigation. For example, for me, I don't like having my portfolio up at the top of my website because throughout my website, every single page that you're on, you're going to see imagery of sites that I have designed. And I'm not trying to drive traffic to my portfolio page. I'm trying to drive traffic to my contact page. But there are people come to my website that want to see my portfolio. So I have that linked in the footer. You could do the same thing if you have a dedicated page for testimonials, or if you have additional pages like FAQs or specific blog posts that you want to link to. Use the footer navigation there. But you want to ensure that both navigations are simple and people understand what to do. This helps to make a professional website for sure. The third one is your copy. You want that copy to be client focused. Make sure that everything that you're doing on your website talks about your client and it's not talking about you as a business. That is something when you land on a website and you read what they have in that hero above the fold. So, meaning, as soon as you land on a website, the first thing that you see, if it's something like, welcome to my website or something about the business, and it's not about how the business can help me, then that is a sign that the website isn't entirely professional. You want to look at the words that you're using and make sure that everything is about your potential client. It is client focused. And this is a great way to bring in a copywriter. I believe that having a copywriter work on the words on your website can make a true difference and can really help speak to your ideal clients. And if you're not able to work with a copywriter, then AI is a great friend that you can utilize. You can pop your copy in there and ask it to make it a little bit more professional, but client focused, customer focused. What is the benefit that they're going to get out of my service, and see what they spit back to you. But take a peek at your copy because this is a sign of an unprofessional website if it isn't client focused. The fourth one is photography or imagery. You want to make sure that you have high quality images. Of course, it would be best if you could have branded imagery. So doing a branded shoot with a brand photographer. If you have a location-based business, having someone come into your location and take pictures of you and your team working with clients. Or if you have an online business, then going to a professional studio and having some professional pictures taken. That, of course, is the best option for you. But if not, then utilizing stock imagery, high quality stock imagery that isn't so stocky-ish, going for unique and out of the ordinary, but making sure that everything is professional. And if you can, making sure that everything is your brand color palette. For example, for me, I have a lot of taupes in my color palette. Sometimes I do need to use stock photos. I really love Unsplash and Pexels for stock photography. They have a little option where you can share a hex color code. I typically share one of my brand color hex codes, and I can see a bunch of images come up that have that color in it. What I like to do is pick something that I really like and then find out who the photographer is for that image and go to their profile and see what other images they have taken. And most likely, they'll kind of have that same flow and consistency, look and feel to them. And I usually pick a few different photos from that specific photographer. However you want to use imagery, make sure that it's professional and that you're using people in your imagery. I talk a lot about the example of a small business of a dentist. When you get to that small business dentist website, 9 times out of 10, you are seeing someone in the dentist chair and someone's working on their teeth. But actually, what you want to be seeing is the benefit that the potential client is going to get by working with you. What's the benefit? Someone out having a great time with their family and smiling with this beautiful big smile with white teeth. That is the benefit. You want that smiling teeth person looking directly at you. Imagery is number 4. Take a peek at your images, see what you have, and if anything looks out of place or isn't consistent, think about replacing that. The number 5 way to make your website more professional is using the power of social proof, testimonials, and reviews. This matters immensely. People feel comfort knowing that someone else has had success with the product that they are interested in. Making sure that you are asking your current clients for reviews and testimonials, and then displaying them on your website throughout all of your pages. Specifically, the homepage is a great place to share, as well as your services page, because that is where someone is deciding if they want to actually work with you or not. Another way to use those testimonials is to have case studies. If you have a blog or you have specific case study pages, ensuring that you can show the before and after and the benefits of working with you. This social proof is so powerful, and it just brings your website professionalism up at a whole different level. Another way of using social proof is those those badges. If you have any industry badges, I work with a lot of financial services providers like accountants and bookkeepers. A lot of them have the QuickBooks badges and things like that. And if they have a specific certification from somewhere, a lot of times there are badges that go with that. Displaying those badges either in a banner type look on your homepage or in your footer takes that professional level up a notch. Think about using social proof whenever you can. The 6th way is your calls to action. This is how you get people to do things on your website. And a professional website is one that takes this into account. Understanding what is that goal of your website. Go back to the dentist. What do we want people to do? Probably to call and make an appointment. What you want people to do is get in touch, making sure that you have buttons telling people, reach out, give us a call, schedule an appointment. And when you click that button, for the dentist, if you want to get a call, making sure that you have everything going on behind the scenes, that when someone clicks that button, they're getting the ability to call straight from their mobile. Because let's be honest, most people are looking at websites from their mobile devices. If you want someone to fill out your form, making sure that you have those calls to action, driving people to fill out that form on your contact page. You have to ask. I can't tell you how many times I've looked at websites and people don't understand, why isn't anyone filling out my contact form? Because you haven't asked them. You haven't had a button to say, please do this. You have to specifically make sure that you are asking people to take the action that you want them to do. Number 7 is that you want to make sure that your website is working properly. And what do I mean like that? Mostly, it's to make sure that it looks good on mobile and that it works properly. When someone gets to a page on your site from their phone, are they able to see all of your copy? Can they click the buttons? Can they access the form? Is there anything that looks out of place? Do the images look good? Making sure that it's working on the mobile side of things. And also making sure that the contact forms or anything that you have on the back end are working. Because if you are a service-based business and you want people to get in touch with you, they need to fill out your contact form. If that form isn't working, you're not going to get any sales. And this is so unprofessional. I actually, probably in the last week or 2, I have gone to 3 different websites that have had contact forms that don't work. Number 1, I put the information in and nothing happens. Or number 2, I put the information in, hit send, and then it's gone, but I don't get a message about anything happening. So I don't know if it actually went through, if it just went into the Ethernet and no one's going to ever find it, or if it's broken. Understanding how your contact forms work, making sure that they do, and making sure that your potential client also knows that it goes through is really important. So looking to make sure that your website is working properly is a way to make it more professional. And finally, those tiny little details that sometimes you might not think about, but are also super important. First one is that your site is secure. You have an SSL certificate. And what does that mean? It just means when someone goes to your URL, you've got that lock. And it shows that you are secure and that you have your domain taken care of. I'm finding that more and more Chrome will not let you visit websites that are not locked. But there are some other browsers that will. and you just have that display that it's unlocked. And that's a huge red flag to me and to lots of potential clients that it is not locked. So making sure that you have that SSL certificate is super important. You also want to look at your favicon. And what do I mean by that? The little icon in your website browser up at the top of the page. If you designed your website on Squarespace, there's that standard square that always comes with it. If you do WordPress, there's that W. Everything has like a default. You want to make sure that you have a custom favicon. Most likely it's your sub logo or just a round version of your logo. If you don't have that, then just use your logo and you probably can crop it to something that will look cute and nice up at the top. But that's another way to make it look more professional. And then my last one is checking that social share image. What does that mean? When someone shares your website on Facebook or on Instagram or on LinkedIn, a little image comes up, making sure that that image is good and it looks good. Most likely, if you don't do that, it picks up the first image that you have on that page. And usually that's okay, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes you want an image that is more descriptive or that has text on it or that reflects that page that you're sharing a little bit better. So taking a peek at that social share image and making sure that it is what you want is really important as well. And there you have it. Those are my 8 ways to make your website more professional. We'll do a little recap. The first one is professional branding. The second is focusing on easy navigation. The third is having client-focused copy. Fourth is professional photography, your imagery. 5 is the power of social proof. 6 is ensuring you have those calls to action. 7 is that everything is working properly behind the scenes. And 8 is kind of checking those little details on your website. And with these 8 pieces put together, your website will look so professional and be a perfect way for you to share your expertise with the world and attract ideal clients that you want to work with and make more money with your website. Thank you so much for listening, and I will chat with you next time. And that wraps up another episode of Website Design Made Simple. I hope you found the insights shared in this episode valuable and takes you one step closer to creating a website that attracts more of your ideal clients and builds your brand. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a minute to leave a review on Apple Podcasts or a rating on Spotify. Your review will help us reach more small business owners like you who are ready to make more money with their website. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.